Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. What I'm doing now is I'm going to be putting the kickstart shaft on, shimming it up and basically seeing if it will fit. Now I have tried these parts, and because they are Scooters India for a GP, I'll show you in a second what I've actually had to do. Right, so on the shaft itself, this was too high, so it was actually catching these bolts. If you've got to remember, on a GP hasn't got this mechanism, so the fact that that's the old one out of it, and if you look at them now, they both line up. So I've had to have that taken down on this one. What we need to do is just clean it up first, which I'm looking for my rag. I'll wipe down, and what I do with the shaft is I just grease along and put a dab of grease in the middle. The oil should get in there eventually anyway. What we need to do is just make sure our spring's clean. And if you look at the spring, if you notice, there's a bit that goes inside. That's the bottom bit and that's the top bit. So I'm just going to give this a quick wipe out. It has been stood a little while. And basically all I've done to start this off is I've put a new rubber in here, and I've just put all the mechanism back, all new washers under the fillers and the breather, so we're ready to rock and roll there. So what I need to do is just get some grease, and I'll tell you what I'm going to need to do as well is take off this bracket. So we'll take off that bracket first, which, yeah, it's only hand tight. So I'm taking this bracket off here, hopefully you can see that. They are smaller head nuts, half nuts as people call them, or half as nutty as me. This mechanism will be in the way while we put the shaft together anyway. So what we've got with the shaft is it's got a spring-loaded part to it, which I'm going to change the whole lot, spring the lot. So there's our mechanism out. I just put it in the grease lid, and what we need to do is just get our top, it's got a bit dirty, and the inside edge there has a circlip, which is in here, that one. That circlip goes in there and it holds the washer in and the plunger. So I just need to take this off of here. Wrong one. That one, because we need to crush in. So I'm crushing in the washer, and it needs to go and sit in. There's a little groove inside there, so make that go in the groove, let go. I don't think I'm actually in the groove. I am now there, yeah. And as you probably know, I like to have my circlips and anything really at the bottom. It's just me. It doesn't matter where it is basically. So it should go in about like that. So I'm more or less at the bottom, if not a little bit out. So just turn that back around a bit to there, that'll do. So we've got our circlip in. Now we need our little washer. So just put your finger at the bottom so the washer doesn't fall through, so it sits flat like that. Hopefully you can see that. And then the plunger goes in. This is all new again, so it's got new, there's no chips out of that. I will explain in a minute why I've changed that when I get this in place. And then we've got our new locking, locating pin, and what you do is you just put that in, screw it all the way home. I'll show you what I'm going to use. I'm going to use an adjustable. So what we need to do is basically make sure this is tight. You can put a bit of Loctite on it, but because it's under tension, I've never seen one let go yet, so that'll do. So we're in, that moves freely. So what we're going to do now is grease this along here. I'll put some more grease on that. Basically grease all the shaft, but try and leave a bit in the middle. Right, that's that done. What I need to do now is just put a bit of grease on the spring itself, and this part here locates in the hole in the bottom there. Now they never push in first time. That one not too bad. I'm going to just take the socket off of there. When I start building the engine, I'm going to tidy up here and make it a lot cleaner. So what we're doing there is we're just pushing the spring in. So the spring sits level with the edge there. And then what we're doing, if we look on the bottom here, we've got a hole that locates into the pin, so of the spring. So that needs to go in there. And probably easier for me to do it on the side where I can see what I'm doing. Nearly. That's it, that's in. So what we need to do now is make sure that the actual wire goes as far in as it can. So just get a set of pliers and just push it in like so. That's in, about as far as it will go. What I've done with the oil seal is I've put the oil seal in, because I always find it easier to put it in first. And what I did was I've left it for best part of a week with the old shaft in, so that the oil seal would become accustomed to being in, and it's not going to get just pushed straight out. If you notice, there's a little gap there, that it just needs pushing home, and then our spring shall turn. So that's quite good. I'm quite happy with that. What we can do now is put our little circlip on. I'm not putting the shim on yet. We've got a circlip here somewhere which I took off a second ago. Right, so these circlips, if you can see, have got little splines on the outside. What that basically does is it sits on this washer, keeping it square, and it also keeps the kickstarter under the same pressure all the way around. And of course, believe it or not, there's the other one. So I'm going to put another new one on anyway, because I took it out. So I'm just going to put that on the side of the engine case with these that open up. It'll have to come off again when I put the shim on, but all I want it is, I don't want the kickstarter, basically the lever, to mess about with what I'm doing with the oil seal, etc. So I'm just going to stick that over the shaft. I'll turn around a bit, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So over the shaft, and it should go into a groove down there. I'll probably have to put a screwdriver into that just to get it to sit home. That's in. And I haven't showed you this, but I picked this up in the week, all re-chromed, original Li1. Really nice condition, and it does make a difference when you see these on. So what I'm basically doing is I need to turn this around to clear the mechanism there. So I'm just going to turn the kickstart mechanism around and just put the kickstart more or less into place like that. And if I use the wooden end of a hammer, just tap it on. Right. So what we've got now is it's sitting over the middle of the bracket, which is going to go under it. And we can stick that bracket underneath, and it goes in with the hook that way, basically. So we can put our bolts in, the top and the bottom one, and we'll have to move the mechanism to clear. So what we're actually after now, you see that there is too far down. That's too far. It'd take you're missing basically probably about a third of a kick. Needs to sit there. Also as well, that's sitting a little bit proud when it shouldn't do. These teeth should be level on the top, should be inside. Right, after actually fighting me all evening, we quickly go over why I changed the actual kickstart mechanism. It was basically because that's been chewed. Now you could reuse that again if you want to. I just think that if it's on its way out, do the job properly. This horseshoe washer with the little tabs on it goes into that groove there, and then you've got your shims that move your kickstart lever in and out. Basically that is only needed one proper shim, which is about 1.5 mil or whatever. I didn't actually measure it, it was just a brand new one that I had, so I've reused or used that one. And luckily enough for me, I don't know what I've done with the one from here, to be honest. So that was the reason why I changed it. And what I was trying to say earlier on was, you need to try and get this as close, that pin is close to the pivot point there, and that's just before. It's a little bit too in for my liking, but it's working. This being an Indian and a GP one as well, I've had to basically machine slightly on the edge, because this mechanism, as I probably explained earlier, that mechanism is not on a GP. So this is a GP lever, which I've had to literally just take slightly down. I'm trying to keep the lever on at the moment because I don't want it to fall off, and I haven't put a bolt in there. I could probably put that in to hold it in place. It's not all the way through, but yeah, you basically, this isn't on a GP, it's just the ramp part that's there, so this can be more beefed up. I don't know why they have beefed it up, but they have. Scooters India again. Fettling to get everything to fit, so everything here is all fitting now. The lever's moving, yeah, and it kicks out and goes back in again. It's a little bit stiff yet because it's not actually bound itself in, so but that I'm more than happy with that. As I said previously, we rebuilt this with the spring and what have you, so all this mechanism's in. It's had a new rubber washer on the top under there. I should have actually showed people what I did there, but I was out cleaning up in the week, trying to tidy up what I'm doing in here, and it was just something I wanted to get out of the way. And what I normally do now is I fill up this part, that part there, with oil. I don't know why, because the oil's got to get through here, through this gap here, out, so you know, it'd have to come out under pressure. So but I do normally fill this up with oil to make sure that none of the oil seeps out anywhere, but I'm quite happy with that. It looks like over the years it has actually been in the wars. It's got the mark, the dreaded mark of the sprocket drive bolt that's come out and hit and started rubbing. Not badly, I mean, I've seen them go through there before, but it's all sealed. Like I said, I've put new washers on the filler, the drain and the breather, so I'm quite happy with that. That's all torqued up, tighten a bit more. Like I say, it will loosen up as it's warmed up and what have you, and used a few times, but the kickstart will be off. That's why I've not really put it on at the moment, but it doesn't really need to go back on till the engine started to be rebuilding. So I have literally got most of the engine now together, so I will be cleaning up a bit more. I don't like the way this is all dirty in here. Not dirty, it's like it's been left with oil in it. You know, it could do with a bit of a clean out. I just can't believe how rough. I've always thought of Innocenti being better than Sil, to be honest, but they're rough castings. It's a genuine part. Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it, how rough the castings are. And it's not the only one. I've got another one here which is stripped down, and that's just as rough, you know, in places. So they're both exactly the same part, and silly enough, they've both got the same issue there. So on the drive sprocket. So I'm going to call it a day for this one now, and keep an eye out, and we will build the engine. I have got the bearings and the oil seals now, and just to show you the crank, I have got their Vitum seals, and what I do is I leave them on like this, like I did with the back hub one. It just eases them on. They get used to basically being in place. That needs pushing on a tad more, the inner or the outer mag one, which is not a Viton because there's no petrol goes on there. So we've got Viton seals for both inner sides, mag side and drive side, on the crankshaft. So I'll digress again. So thanks for watching. I hope you get something out of this. It's been a bit of a pain because, you know, we've had to machine this down. I've had to get this so it's level. It's just another day basically in India land with the Indian parts. So, but there again, it is, you know, they're making parts for a GP when you look at it that way. So they're beefing up bits here and there. I mean, it was in a seal packet. It could have been a uni. It could be anything. You know, but I've seen these advertised quite a lot with the stepped, just that step part there, which I believe is GP, because like I say, this part here is not on a GP engine. It's only on the LITV SX range, Series 3, Series 2, Series 1. Not TV 175 Series 1, but the rest of them, because that's got a big spring in the middle. But right, I'm going to call that a day. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. Catch me on the next one. Bye for now.